Hey everyone, it's Aviation Buff. Today we're going to be looking at something that's in a lot of people's backyards and they don't know about it. And we're looking at the old Hancock International Guard Base, which is located in Syracuse, New York. It's also the Syracuse Hancock International Airport. And I actually live about 2 hours from here. And, history surrounds us. There is history everywhere. The past is everywhere. Ordained items show us glimpses into the past. They make us ponder a question of why is that like that now? A driveway that leads to nowhere with grass in the cracks, an abandoned road that once thrived with traffic, an airplane in a boneyard. Why are they like that now, and what were they like before this? I get a strong sense of nostalgia. Does everyone else ever get that feeling? Time is a funny thing. Most say it's impossible to build a time machine, but in reality, we have so many things that show the past right in front of our very own eyes. Some people can't sense the time machine that many of us see and feel. It's actually a comforting feeling to me personally that we can see the past. How wonderful it is to travel in time. It's a wonderful feeling. I think Google Map gives us a wonderful insight into the past. We can literally see evidence of the past mixed in with the present. And at Hancock Field in Syracuse, New York, this is a prime example of what I'm talking about. You know, back in World War II, Syracuse built dozens and dozens of revetments, which was kind of rare for a stateside base. And these revetments once housed B-17s and B-24s as they were en route to Europe. And just think of that. And here, you look at this Google map here of the airport, and you can still see many revetments. Some still are outside now, outside the airport grounds. But all these used to have B-17s and B-24s all over these revetments. There's even revetments up here. This is like I know this here's a postal service building here, but right here is like a school bus terminal garage, and here's revetments down here, and over here to the east, revetments all the way down here. We still see remnants of revetments. Isn't that amazing? And even down here, you can still see way over here, and they were all over this place. They're all over, and there's still signs of them here today, and that, I think, is amazing. That is a glimpse into our past. And for those that like aviation history, you know, a lot of our aviation history is gone now, and what we got left is things like this. And a little history about Hancock Field. During World War II, it was a satellite field for en route B-17s and B-24s, and I'm sure other aircraft heading to Europe. And people that flew out of Hancock Field or from Syracuse, New York, were called the boys from Syracuse. The boys from Syracuse. And I think I've seen some bomber nose art with something with boys from Syracuse, haven't I? Isn't there some nose art with that saying? I just think it's amazing. There's all these revetments still here. You still see remnants all over, right here too. See that? Little circles and squares. And some, are outside the airport grounds now. There's one way over there in someone's backyard. Can you imagine that? That is just crazy. Anyway, again, I'm sorry, I digressed. A little history on the Hancock Field. In World War II, it was a staging for American bombers going to Europe. They were known as the boys from Syracuse. During the Cold War, Syracuse actually had a SAGE, which is a semi-automatic ground environment radar system blockhouse, or also known as a combat center. Not many of these were made in the country. Pretty much they would take care of a section for the Air Defense Command of country to, They have many radar networks that would feed information into one of the combat centers, like here at Syracuse. And the information would then be passed out to interceptor squadrons, missile squadrons, and air defense sectors. Also, it was home of the 138th Attack Squadron, 174th Attack Wing, and they flew F-86H Sabres. I should say F-86H Sabre Hogs. And it's really interesting to note that the F-86s here were in service from the late 50s until 1970, when the F-86Hs were retired. And in fact, these were the last F-86s in service with the United States Air Force and Air National Guard units. The last F-86 squadron airplanes in U.S. Air Force inventory retired in 1970. And I love the F-86, and I like the F-86 Sabre Hog. That's kind of a rare, forgotten F-86 variant. Let's see, the 138th then switched over to they had the A-37 attack suites there, and then they had A-10s, and then they had F-16s throughout the 90s, and I think the F-16s were retired there in early 2010s, and now they have a drone squadron there now. And you know what? If you go down to, let's see if I can find it. Down. Hey, look at that. The 3 warbirds. There we go. Okay. Hey, look at that. That's an F-94 Starfire right there. Because the 138th did fly F-94s in the early mid-50s. Apparently, they also flew the F-84 Thunderjet, which is one right here. And in the middle is the A-37 Tweet, attack version of the T-37. Because the 138th flew these as well in the 70s. And also, with the A-10s, there is an A-10, where is it? I saw it here not too long ago. Yeah, right there. There's an A-10 here, kind of parked out in no man's land a little bit. Right there, because they flew the A-10 as well. I think these airplanes are eventually going to be like gate guards or something, a lot of Air Force bases, like the display aircraft that, squadrons that were based at the airfield flew. So that, I think, is pretty neat, right? I just think I think there's a lot of history here. And I think people don't realize it. Right in their backyard, there used to be dozens and dozens of B-17s and B-24s parked all along here at all these little revetments that you still see today. And as we all know, there's only 2 B-24s flying today, and not that many really in existence on static displays. And the B-17, there's only currently like 9 flying, and about around 50 maybe in existence. So you imagine there was 13,000 or so B-17s built, how so few there are today. The same with the B-24. Actually, B-24 was the most numerous U.S. bomber built in World War II. There's only 2 flying today, and there's even less, I think, of those in existence on static display or whatnot. So just, unfortunately, history gets erased and scrapped, and we don't have much left for our future generations. There's not that many around today. So all we really got is like little glimpses that we see here of the past. And I'm sorry, this video was meant to be kind of like a little map exploration with Google Map here, but I don't mean to get into I don't mean to get in a philosophy style of video. But yeah, I mean, I see history as a philosophical subject as well, really, because it's an interesting thing. I don't know, history for me, or I see something today, and I get filled with nostalgia all the time. I have a huge sense of nostalgia, And I don't know, I guess maybe that's the history buff in me. I've always been in tune with history and observing things that maybe most people would just pass by and not even give a second thought. But I tend to look at things and just be able to see that there's something of history within this item that I'm looking at, and I can somehow, that is a huge sense of nostalgia right there, right? What it originally looked like, and look at all those revetments. Wow. Wow. I mean, that is just wow. It's just amazing how things have changed from, 50, 60, 70 years ago till now. That is just, look at all the revetments. And you can still, if you compared this photo with the current Google map, you still see these revetments today. And like what I just pointed out with the old taxiway and revetments that now have vegetation grow up around it. Here it is, right here. Look at it. This is it. Here's another one right here. And then it goes all the way up here. There's revetments way down here to the south. They're just all over, and way out here too. I mean, look at them. This is where that bus terminal school bus terminal I pointed to. Here's where that revetment taxiway goes down to. It's still there today. And I just think that's a wonderful thing, that there's still, some of that past and history still present today. But yeah, if we go back here now and see this, see, look, all the old abandoned taxiway and revetments still out there in the woods and the trees, and people that live around here I would never realize what they are living around, a piece of history. And here's some more revetments here. They just disappear into nothing, right? That's just a piece of history there. That is just amazing. I'm sorry I'm rambling on and on. This probably is the most boring YouTube video ever, right? But here's a bus area here. I'm thinking they use this revetment now for bus training, driving training. I don't know, because I see they got like marks and stuff down there as if for practice. I don't know, but isn't that's just wild to me. History is still out there, folks. Just gotta look for it. It's out there. If you want to travel back in time, this is pretty much the only way you really can do it. Really, it's just, there's some revetments there. One that goes here, one out there. It looks like one way out here. Look at that. They built it past the new interstate highway here. It's still, they just cut that right off. There were some more around this area too. It's just crazy. Look at that. Way out in someone's backyard now has an old revetment there. I wonder if they ever even think about that concrete pad in their backyard and what significance that has. Is that crazy? I don't know. I just love this stuff. I'm a geek, right? History geek, history buff. That's just crazy. I just love this stuff. There's still pieces of our past still around. It's still out there. And a lot of people just pass by it every day without thinking anything of it. Anyway, folks, that's all I got today. I'm sorry for babbling on about history and stuff, but as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about history and trying to bring the past alive and finding things out there that are still of the past that's in the present. I think that's a wonderful thing, right? So with that, everyone, thank you for watching my video. Please like and subscribe. Please leave a comment. I love talking history with people and aviation history. So if you got something to share, even if it seems mundane, go ahead and share it, because there's a lot of little neat history still out there. And so please feel free to share any history you have around your neck of the woods, and or anything that that want to talk about, feel free to share. And also, please visit www.warbirdbunker.com for cool airplane shirts and t-shirts. All their shirts are USA made, and it helps support saving aviation history, USA made, and also children with cancer. So with that, everyone, thank you for watching. Have a good day. Keep 'em flying.